On today's Church TechCast Q&A show, ProPresenter's stage display and set-top boxes. Hi everyone, and welcome again to another episode of the Church TechCast Q&A show. My name is Paul Allen Clifford, and I'm your host, and I'd love for you to ask your questions. So head on over to trinitydigitalmedia.com/contact. There you can find all my contact information. So if what I'm about to say you don't write down, you're driving in your car, you just don't have the opportunity, that's okay. All you need to remember is trinitydigitalmedia.com/contact. And there you can find all the information that I'm about to tell you. So first off, email paul@trinitydigitalmedia.com, which makes perfect sense given that my name is Paul. You can also echo back to this podcast by calling 1-877-POD-ECHO, 1-877-763-3246. That's 1-877-POD-ECHO. If you're more of a Twitter person, you might know that I did write the book on Twitter. So head on over to twitter.com/Paul Allen Cliff. Remember, shortest possible way to spell all three of those. PAULALANCLIF is my Twitter handle, Paul Allen Cliff. And you can reach me any of those ways, or you're always welcome to leave a comment below the video. That would be perfectly cool. If you are, by any chance, subscribed to the podcast, I would love you to give me a review. So head on over to trinitydigitalmedia.com/iTunes reviews, all one word, and I'd love a 4 or 5 star review if I could get it from you. Let's say you're not subscribed. No problem, I got you covered. trinitydigitalmedia.com/subscribe. That's right, I knew you would guess it. trinitydigitalmedia.com/subscribe will take you to all the links where you can just subscribe. And that is free, by the way. So you can automatically get a notification every time there is a new show. And if you do it in iTunes or another podcatcher, you'll actually get the show every time. So that's really, really cool and really, really free. So I would do that if I were you. Okay, so before we hop on into the show, I do want to thank those of you who have joined me partnering together in making this show and all the other shows on the churchtechcast.com network possible. All you need to do is head on over to patreon.com/Paul Allen Cliff, patreon.com/PAULALANCLIF, and you can support the show for as little as $1 a month. Every little bit helps. So dig out some couch change, skip a latte at Starbucks, whatever. Any of those are perfectly good ways to support the show and help make free church tech training available to churches all over the world. And when I say all over the world, I've heard from church tech people as far away as the Philippines, and as close, I know that there's someone as close as in my own town. So head over and help out. Every little bit helps, and we can get more church tech experts on answering your questions, because I know that I don't know everything. So I really want to get some more people that know IT, some people that know video even better than I do, some people that know graphic design better, some people that know lighting, some people that know sound, etc. And we'll just make this the go-to resource for church tech training. So I have been getting questions every week from those of you in the audience, and I just want to thank you so much for asking those. If you want to ask your question, don't forget trinitydigitalmedia.com/contact has all the contact information there. So I got a couple of questions this week, so this perhaps might be a shorter show than we're used to, but I looked at some of the other sources of questions and didn't really find anything. So I'm just going to go with these two and we'll go from there. So Brian McDonald asked me on trinitydigitalmedia.com. He had a ProPresenter question. And you might know that I've been fighting with an issue with my installation. It turns out that there was some third-party software that had gacked up my ProPresenter installation. So I'll tell you about that a little bit later. Brian McDonald asks, how would I set up stage display as in through the DVI to VGA adapter? I see where it is in settings, but don't know where to actually set it up for a different Mac. Okay, so you've got a few steps, but first let me back up just a second and ask you this question. Just to cover our bases, it's not the case because the DVI connector can send both an analog and a digital signal, and depending on the connector, you can actually send both at the same time. So if you're thinking, oh, I will send my main display out of the DVI connector of the DVI port and then my stage display out of the VGA port, I don't think that's going to work. I think that those are mirrored. They're basically the same signal, just in different formats. So I think that that's going to be a limitation if that's what you mean. If by chance what you actually mean is it's a DVI connector on my Mac, I need to adapt that to VGA so that I can get a longer, more reliable cable run, then we can help. Okay, so with that said, in order to use stage display, you're going to need a total of 3 displays. The first display should be your control screen. If you're using a laptop, let's say you're using one of the latest MacBook Pros, which has not only the screen on it, but it also has 2 Thunderbolt ports, this would work perfectly for you. So let's just assume it's something like that. Maybe it is, anyway, it's something like that. So you need a total of 3 displays. One of them can be built in. That needs to be the display to control ProPresenter. That's the one only you see, no problem. Secondly, you need the main display out. Does no good whatsoever to have a stage display, but no one can actually see what's going on the main display because you just don't have a port for it. So your second one is your main display. Your third one is your stage display. When you go into Control Panel, let's see here, System Preferences, sorry, had a little Windows flashback there. When you go into System Preferences, and I'm starting up System Preferences on my Mac right now so that I remember to call things the appropriate thing, there should be something in Display Settings which you can check how many displays that you have. So let's go, yeah, so under System Preferences, you click on Displays, and each display should pop up a window that has at least 2 tabs, Display and Color. The main window, the main monitor will also have one called Arrangement. Just click on Arrangement and you should see 3 boxes there. You should also see that there's a little checkbox in the lower left-hand corner that's marked Mirror Displays. That needs to be unchecked. Unchecked. Make sure that that is not checked. Because if it is checked, that will mess up what we need to do. Because we need each of those displays to have something different. Now, I should say before I go on, let's say that you have, like my MacBook Pro here only has one external video out. If I wanted to set up a stage display on it, and it's capable of doing it, How would I do that? It's the 13-inch, so I don't have the PCI Express card slot. I've got the SD card slot. Good thing I still have some coffee. So how would I set that up? Go to Amazon, and I'll try and put a link in the show notes below, but if not, it's fine. They make USB to DVI or USB to VGA adapters that you can get, and that will give you another monitor. So since the stage display is just text primarily, that it's not going to be an issue. You know, you wouldn't want to play a high-end video game on it because it's not going to be that beefy, but displaying text over a black background, perfect. So that would work as well. So now you've got your 3 displays in System Preferences in the Display tab, right? Now I want you to fire up ProPresenter. When you fire up ProPresenter, there's a Settings tab. Where is it? Preferences. Oh, let me fire up ProPresenter. So when you fire that up, as I'm doing right now, so I'm going to talk a little bit while that fires up, there is a choice that you have to set this up. When you get to the appropriate place, which I'll tell you in just a minute because I'm blanking on what they're called exactly, when you get to that appropriate place, you will see 3 boxes. One of them will say SD on it. One will say nothing. By default, this is the way that it comes. And one will be the main display. Leave the main display alone. The one that says SD is probably by default right now on your main display, your control display rather. So if it's on your control display, you need to drag that over to the empty box. So you drag the SD over onto the empty box. So that is basically how you set it up, and I have created a little tutorial for you as well. Okay, so now ProPresenter is fired up. I really need to install an SSD in this old MacBook Pro. So yes, if you go to the ProPresenter 5 menu and then go down to Preferences, and then go to Display, you should see one that's marked Out. Out is your main display. By default, the SD will be on your control display. You need to drag that onto the 3rd box that doesn't have anything on it, and then turn on the stage display just to make sure. So that's a little checkbox that says Enable Stage Display. If you click on the Enable Stage Display right out of the box, you'll lose your control screen because it will show the stage display. Make sense? So that is basically how you do it. If there are any specifics that I've missed, feel free to hit me up with more questions and we'll get it straightened out for you. By the way, next week I'm probably either going to talk about troubleshooting ProPresenter or layers in ProPresenter. So that's something to watch on the Tuesday screencast show at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. UTC on churchtechcast.com. Okay, Kathleen Eggersheim. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Kathleen. If not, please forgive me. She sent me an email at paul@trinitydigitalmedia.com, and she said, "Hi, Paul. I just read your article, Live Streaming How to Reach TV Audiences in Church Production Magazine, which I am a regular contributor to Church Production Magazine. So if you head over there, you can see my monthly articles on streaming. We currently broadcast our service online each week and also air it on the local ABC and Fox affiliates. I'm always interested in new ways to get the gospel message out. Could you clarify if you found a way to live stream to home TV? I wasn't sure if Roku was the best you found or if the jury is still out as to a surefire, easily accomplished way for home viewers. Thank you, Kathleen. Okay, so just to recap what I said in that article, I said that there are basically two ways to do this. You can do it the way that's easy for the church but hard for the viewer, or the way that's hard for the church but easy for the viewer. And I recommended the second of those two, that you spend the money, take the time, and make it to where it's easy for the viewer. So a Chromecast for someone technical is not hard to use. To take what's on your laptop and throw it onto your TV. But you got to have a laptop. Or you've got to have a smartphone that's Chromecast enabled. An Apple TV is basically the same way. If you've got a Mac laptop, if you've got a iPhone, iPad, you can put that live stream up on that device as well. I'm a big Apple guy, so I would lean towards the Apple TV, except this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, how would I set it up for my mother? My mother is not technical at all. She just had her 79th birthday, so she was before the generation that was on the whole technology thing. Just barely, but still before that generation. There are some people that are 79 that are online, but not my mom. So how would I do it? I would set her up with a Roku. Now she would need to pay for internet, broadband in her house, or something like that, But that's what I would do. Here, let me shut down ProPresenter from the previous question, because that's just hogging resources I don't need hogged right now. So I would set up a Roku channel, subscribe her to that Roku channel, plug her TV into it. A lot of the Rokus will plug into an SD TV as well as an HD TV, as long as you've got a composite input, and just go like that. So that's why I would recommend the Roku. Now let's talk about the downside of the Roku. Roku is not an expensive box. I think mine was $60. So setting up a senior or a retired person, etc., with the Roku would not be a big financial strain. You could probably take up a collection and get it taken care of. The streaming band, the cable modem bill might be, but let's just say that that's not an issue for them personally. So you've got your two things. You've got your Roku, you've got your broadband access for the person, you've got their TV, because almost everyone has a TV, so that's all taken care of. Now, setting up a Roku channel is not easy. Now, it's not something that's insurmountable. You don't have to get into assembly language and type ones and zeros over and over again. But you would need someone who is at least proficient in web design, web programming, something like that to do it. But here's the upside. There are companies that will set up a Roku channel for you. And some streaming providers will set up a Roku channel for you. So I use churchstreaming.tv and they will do it. They just say, hey, I need this graphic, I need that graphic, I need this description, and you just fill in all the blanks and they set it all up for you. So that's how I got my Roku channel. And I really need to change the graphic because I was kind of in a hurry, and quite frankly, it's ugly. But that is what I would recommend if I were you, is I would set up a Roku channel. Once you set it up, it's set it and forget it, and they can watch live. So that's what I would do. Thanks a lot. So those are the questions for today. Let me take just a second to encourage everyone in the U.S. Right now, the FCC is deciding on a provision that, quite frankly, endangers the internet. I don't want to undersell this. What I'm doing right now by live streaming, if this goes through, I very well may not be able to. I don't know what the future of the ChurchTechCast.com network is if this goes through. The cable providers say that what they're planning on doing is speeding up access for everyone who pays extra. I don't believe that, but let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's assume the best of them, shall we? And let's say that they are going to speed up the internet for everyone who pays extra. I don't have extra money to pay extra. I barely have enough money to pay for the bandwidth that I use right now. Barely. So that takes me off a level playing field with Netflix and Amazon streaming and YouTube, and puts me in a lower tier. So if giving them the benefit of the doubt, if everyone is equal and then you promote some people, that means the people that did not get promoted are no longer equal. And the people that did look faster and better, giving them the benefit of the doubt. Now, I don't believe that's how they're going to do it. I don't know this for sure, but every expert that I've listened to says what they're actually going to do is they're going to take the people that don't pay and they're going to drop them. So that it seems like the people that did pay are faster, but the people that did pay are now the same speed as they always were. Please write your member of Congress. Please go to fcc.gov/comment and comment. Really, this matters. If your church live streams, your stream is in danger as well. It really matters, and I don't know what a good solution is. Turning them into a 19th century telco in that way, I don't think is a good solution, but I know what they're doing right now is definitely not a solution. I think perhaps we need to say, if there's 2 or fewer internet providers in a place, there are some rules that you have to abide by. If there are more providers where they can offer competition, then you all just slug it out and try and get the most customers you can by offering the lowest prices and fastest speed. That's what I would like to see. Boy, do I wish Google Fiber was in Nicholasville, Kentucky. But until it is, let's try and protect what we do have, not only in Nicholasville, but in Hackensack and in Petaluma and in all the little towns and all the places all around the country. Really, this matters, so go on and do it today. Until next time, I'm Paul Allen Clifford with TrinityDigitalMedia.com. Go out and change eternity.